one person is mentally unwell, it affects almost everyone else. We need to change this idea of shame in mental health, this idea of suffering alone, this idea that we hide those people behind closed doors, to the extent that sometimes we tie them to beds, children tied to beds. We need to change this paradigm. We need to give appropriate, accessible, and affordable mental health services to all our citizens here in this country. We must be more empathetic and we must show more compassion. I say this as an appeal to all citizens, particularly those with such cases, so that you know that your government, through the Ministry of Health, is thinking about you, and that we intend to do something about it. When we ask for a paradigm shift, we don't ask for a paradigm shift just from citizens. We are also determined to have a paradigm shift here in the Ministry of Health. As you all know, the President set up a committee to look into the issues of mental health, led by Dr. Frank Jenga, a renowned person in that area of mental health. And we, as a government, were not asking those people to carry out a responsibility and an exercise in futility. The recommendations that they developed meant that we now launched the Mental Health Policy 2015-2030. And we want to attain the highest standards of mental health. In other words, we are taking all mental health issues head on. And what does that mean? That we are committed to the gradual implementation of the recommendations that was made by the task force. And this includes that we want, in the very near future, to establish a modern neuropsychiatric hospital here in Nairobi, one that is matched by none across this region. And it is going to be a teaching and referral institution for all kinds of mental issues. That hospital is going to be supported by 4 other regional satellite facilities throughout the country, so that people need not travel very long distances, and so that that particular institution can be a referral hospital, a teaching hospital, rather than treating everyday cases. Now, the upgrading of our hospital, of the Mathare Hospital, whether in its current location or indeed very, very possibly located elsewhere as a referral hospital, is a top priority of the government. And this is something that we want to start as soon as possible, and certainly to the formation of the people and the infrastructural requirements to make these changes is something that we are being almost immediately. In addition, we are also committed to the provision of appropriate medication for people with mental health needs under the UHC package. Further, we are working with partners in Quality Rights Mental Health Initiative, which focuses on human rights approach to mental health care for patients and caregivers. Under this particular initiative, and following on the recommendations of the task force, we are committed to work on public education to reduce the stigma that I have demonstrated and spoken about today. And this stigma is indeed part and parcel of our mental health issues. On this day, as we celebrate the World Mental Health Day, it is my wish to restate the commitment of the government to put in place proper response to the challenges posed by mental disorders that is equal to the burden. This will include investing in training of our personnel. There is no need of buildings and brick and mortar that is not matched with the people and the human capital and capacity that is going to treat our people. And the treatment is not just quantity treatment, but also quality treatment. Empathetically appreciating and knowing that nobody chooses to be mentally challenged. That it is something that can happen to each one of us, and each one of us also owes a responsibility to society to give everything that we can to those who are mentally challenged. Hashtag move for mental health. Let's invest.